All right. Greetings, everyone. Master Grogan here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Welcome to another exciting episode of Grogan's Bully Proof and Kickin' Life. This is podcast episode number 317. And of course, we're doing our Thursday live stream. And on our Thursday live stream, we've got a special guest, total rock star here. I'm give all the accolades in just a second here. But just a reminder, join us on Thursdays, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We do the live stream. And the live stream, we have a special guest that we spotlight. And as I always promise you, I'm going to bring you somebody who's kicking butt in any industry. But what the biggest empowerment, what they're doing is empowering kids, parents, teens, adults, anyone out there to believe in themselves, to have the hope, to have the self-confidence, to get back up because they're a believer in battling, fighting, not giving up, battling through our challenges, overcoming our fears, because we've all been knocked down. And as Rocky says, nothing is harder than life. It's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. For our guest today, wildly successful entrepreneur. I'm blessed to have known him for, well, goodness gracious, 4 or 5 years now. And I'm blessed to be part of his Connected Leaders Academy, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. So our people, our friends that are listening, as you always do, got a little bit of a late start on the live stream. So thank you for bearing with us, a little technical difficulty, but I see people popping up and you know the show, the how we do things here. Make sure you ask questions and interact with us as we move forward. All right. Who are we talking about here? Wildly successful entrepreneur, husband, father, life coach. He was born in Washington, D.C., where he resides now with his family. He's happily married. He's got 4 wonderful kids. He's been a sales professional for over 22 years, many of which included management and coaching positions. He's currently the sales director for the educational funding company, EFC, those in the martial arts industry. You know that. He's the founder of the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf, where he's a high performance coach helping entrepreneurs take their lives and businesses to the next level. And he just recently released his latest digital program and the morning and evening routine mastery. He's also recently launched, as I just mentioned, the Connected Leaders Academy, the CLA, as we like to call it. And it's rapidly growing, not only here in the States, but globally. And he can tell us about how many different countries now that the Connected Leaders Academy is a part of. And I highly encourage you, if you kind of fit the credentials, got to be an entrepreneur and a few other things, man, to jump on in. It's wonderful to connect with not only our guest, I haven't given you his name just yet, and the people that he's connected with. Everything he's done has been from a servient heart, passion, growth, the willingness to help other, the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf, talking about different books, the Connected Leaders Academy, what he's done for so many years. And that's how I met him, through EFC and the M Global Power Summit, which is martial arts globally working together to empower others. It's incredible. Who am I talking about? Well, if you're watching the live stream, you see him on the screen. If you're listening on the podcast, which airs on Monday on all podcast apps, Grogan's Bully Proof, you don't get a chance to see him, but I encourage you to go back and watch the live stream here. It's Mr. Jose Escobar. Jose, how you doing, buddy?
Fantastic. How are you?
Fantastic as well. Thank you for your patience. I know we had some technical difficulties there. To be honest, if I use this Melon app as the app that I use for this, and it's gone off without a hitch for countless episodes. But today we got Mr. Jose on there, and the app was testing your patience there. So is he going to rock and roll? Yes, he is. Well, welcome. And oh my goodness, we got people jumping on already. Danielle and Roman from the Connected Leaders Academy. Hello. Good afternoon, Rich Grogan. Hello, Jose Escobar. Well, hello, Miss Danielle. Good stuff. All right, Jose. Well, welcome to the show, and thank you for the time. Now, I always do my very best to give you as much of a buildup as I can, because I always hate it when I'm on somebody's show or podcast or the radio or whatever, and they say, "Hey, tell us a little bit about yourself." Well, being humble, it's always kind of tough to really list all your accolades. So I did my very best to kind of, not only the information you sent me, but obviously from knowing you and snooping around on your Facebook page and everything else, I dug a little deeper. So I tried to cover all the bases. But if I missed something, please fill in the gaps.
No, so I think you pretty much said everything that needs to be said. I mean, I've been, also a student in martial arts for some time, on and off for about a decade, and different martial arts, mainly jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai. I've been in the martial arts world as a coach, as a business consultant for many years now. and been to all the events, all the networking, the sales, the coaching, you name it, right? I'll be at the Maya Super Show in Vegas coming up around the corner. So I'm heavily involved in the martial arts world as a sales director for the U.S. territory. Busy household as always, never a dull moment. 4 kids with one on the way. My wife is due August 7th with another boy. So
Congratulations,
thank you.
man.
Thank you. So we'll be a family of 7. Um, lately I've been doing a lot of speaking gigs, in-person speaking. I'll be speaking at an event coming up this Saturday. The event, it's what is it, social media and a speaker event that's going to happen in New Jersey with Emilio and Daniela. I'll be a speaker there. I'll be a speaker at Flashpoint 4.0 in New Jersey with Austin Haynes. That's also another event. So I've been doing a lot more speaking gigs lately. I have a one-on-one coaching business. I have a merchandise shop outside of, the stuff you already mentioned, journals, bookmarks, you know. So, and one notable thing to mention for the sake of the conversation, which I'm sure we'll dive into, is something of interest that is a notable piece. Like I said, is I have launched 2 six-figure businesses in 6 months or less. Um, and that's just part of my recipe in terms of morning, evening routine and how I go about that. One of them being my morning, evening routine mastery company, Entrepreneurs Bookshelf, and the other one being Connected Leaders Academy, which, as you said, is now global. So very excited. Always humble, always hungry to learn, lifelong learner, have tons of mentors, and just honored to be here with you and your wonderful audience today.
Awesome sauce. Well said as always, Jose, and congratulations on the success of both within 6 months. But we're going to dive into that. Obviously, what looks on the surface, well, it's the tip of the iceberg. Hey, 6 months. How in the heck did you do it? Well, 6 months was compounded and built on decades of having mentors, having the right mentors, reading, surrounding yourself with the right people, asking the right questions, but then the willingness. And I definitely want to talk about your morning and evening mastery routine because that's what it takes consistently over and over and over again. Zig Ziglar always talked about PC and has nothing to do with being politically correct. It has everything to do with being persistent consistently, meaning you drive, you push, you grind, that persistent drive every day, but consistently doing it day in and day out, especially those days when you don't feel like it. And you know as well as I do, and our fans listening, look, there's going to be probably more days when you don't want to do it than days that you want to do it, like working out, like going to martial arts class, like writing that book, like showing up for those meetings. There's going to be days when you don't want to do it, probably more of those days than days you do want to do it, but you got to go through. I just little highlight with meditation. I've been meditating for as long as I can remember. I've been in martial arts over 40 years now, but consistently it wasn't always there. Well, today was 473 consecutive days of meditation of 10 minutes or more. Now,
Wow.
did I want to do it? A lot of days, no. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. But of course, I feel so much better after I've done it. And man, Jose, we're getting all kinds of comments. Jason Flame, good morning, guys. Good morning, Jace. As Danielle, Jose is definitely the consummate leader. Emilio and Roman and I absolutely love what he stands for and value the work he brings to the network. Great stuff, great stuff. And fans, jump on, ask comments. We got Jose here for 45 minutes or so. Don't miss an opportunity. And I say this every single week, and we get more and more comments every week. So maybe that message is getting through. But please, they take time out of their day, the wisdom they've put into their programs, their books, their speeches. We got them here. Ask the questions, please. And those just listening to the podcast, you're kind of at the mercy of everybody else asking the questions, unless you remember on Thursdays, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we record these things and you can jump on as well. Good stuff. All right, buddy. So we got to dive into the morning and evening routine mastery. Tell us more about that. Obviously, you dive into how it got started. And then, of course, what I alluded to earlier, please openly share. I'm sure there were a lot of days, probably still are, that you don't want to do it.
Yeah, something about me, Rich, is that I am pretty much an open book. I don't really hide anything. I'm pretty straightforward, just very direct. What you see is what you get. You say what you mean and mean what you say. I'm pretty bold and just open. And I always pull back the curtain on my social media. If you pay attention, I post about a couple of basic things: faith, family, fitness, business, personal development. Those are the kind of things you'll see on my social media. And that's kind of who I am, right? So in terms of the morning, evening routine mastery program, it started off in 2019 is when I really had to turn around in my life. I was always I wasn't average Joe, I was average Jose, right? Just add an S in there, right? I was average Jose, just making average money, with, average health and average marriage, average parenting, average everything. I was just okay across the board. I wasn't necessarily excelling excessively in any department, and I wasn't necessarily like in the dumps in any department either. So I said to myself in 2018 to my wife, I said, listen, Katie, right? Katie's my wife. I said, listen, in 2019, I'm going to commit to a morning routine and an evening routine, Monday through Friday, religiously, relentlessly, zero excuses, zero compromise, with the highest level of discipline and extreme ownership, right? And I'm going to get this thing done Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. wake up time and 10:30 p.m. bedtime. And I'm going to implement some strategies on both ends of the spectrum. The things that I have learned over a decade. I've interviewed some of the best. I've read all the books. I've gone to all these seminars, you name it. I've been there. And I always pay VIP because proximity is key, right? So what happens is I'm a lifelong learner. I invest in myself. I believe in what Warren Buffett teaches. He teaches the greatest investment one can make is an investment in themselves. I've been doing that specifically in the space of the bookends of your day, is what I like to call it, right? The morning routine, the evening routine. And what happened was, in that 1 year, after applying everything I've learned, because I learned so much in that space, but I never applied anything. So information without implementation doesn't really mean much. It's just head knowledge, right? So I said to myself, I got to start applying what it is that I'm learning. So in that 1 year, I committed. I did not let up. And after that 1 year, would you believe, Rich, that I doubled my income that year? I lost 36 pounds, got in the best shape of my life. I became a better father. I became a better husband. My spiritual life was at an all-time high because I was reading the Bible in the morning. I was doing prayer. I was heavily involved in all of that, right? I was reading a book a week that year. I started reading a book a week. Intellectually, I was at an all-time high. Like everything was just firing on all cylinders. And I said to myself, a light bulb went off, and I said, you know what? I changed my life this year. I ended up launching a company called Fat Glass Marketing, a social media marketing agency from scratch. That I had no idea how to start a business. I just said, I'm going to do it, whatever. And anyway, so all that happened in 1 year. And I was like, okay, let me teach other people how to do the same thing. So fast forwarding to where the program was created, it took me 2 years to launch my program. 2 years of kicking it around, trying to perfect it, trying to make it just right and film it perfectly and all this stuff, right? But the problem was, I was like, in my mind, I was a perfectionist. But the reality was, perfectionism is really procrastination in disguise. And if you peel it back a little bit further, it's really a fear of failure and a fear of potential success, right? And if you peel it back even further, it's actually imposter syndrome and lack of confidence, and you name it. So I didn't launch my program for a long time until it was July of 2021, last summer, basically almost a year ago. And I said to myself, you know what, enough is enough. And in January of 2021, my word of the year was execute. I said, this is going to be my word for 2021. And sure enough, I'm going to launch this program no matter what. So I was following a guy named Richard Yu. Richard Yu is this UCLA graduate, 23-year-old, young guy, sharp. He's making like $700K a month, something ridiculous, right? And he's like this YouTuber sensation guy who teaches coaches how to make 10K in 30 days. So I paid this guy thousands of dollars to teach me how to get the idea of my program that I've been trying to master for 2 years and get it out there and just monetize it and actually be able to sell it. So I took his program, I paid him, and I'm happy to say that I am a graduate of his program. This is the award that I got, 10K in 30 days, right? So it's a 10K in 30 days high performance influencer program by this guy, Richard Yu. And they didn't have another award, but I actually made like 26K in 30 days, not 10, right? So with one program. So when I finally launched it in the first 30 days, I was like, this is legit. So if you fast forward from when I launched it in September to the end of April, right? I'm not counting December because in December I had COVID. I was sick as a dog. I was on bed rest. In those 6 months, with this one program that I finally launched, I've changed many people's lives. They have changed their lives by the way of the program, and it's generated over 148K in 6 months. And this is just the beginning, Rich. This is just the beginning, and I'm super excited about where this program is headed. It's more of a high ticket item. It's 8 weeks, and there's live group coaching calls, 2 per week. There's 36 plus modules. There's action items associated to all the modules, so you're applying what you're learning as you go through the program. There's a private community. There's accountability by me, your accountability coach. It's next level stuff, and it is what exactly changed my life.
Boom. Holy smokerooskies. Good stuff, man. That is fantastic. Well, a lot to unpack there. The first thing, well, I don't know if it's the first thing or not, but it's first right here because squirrel, you know how I am. I got focus. Going to all the different conferences. You know, I share up until 2012. I didn't know I could read because I chose not to. But then suddenly I heard of this guy named Zig Ziglar, and I'm going to start listening to his audiobooks, reading his books, and then that opened my eyes to countless other authors that have always been around, but I never knew they existed. Then started going to conferences and seminars and attending webinars. And the thing you said about VIP, I encourage. That's exactly what I do because proximity. I forget exactly how you said it. Proximity is what?
Key.
Key. Oh, that was easy enough. Proximity is key. I thought it was something woo, but yeah, you got to be there. I get there as early as possible. I'm always in the very front row, and I'm there, baby, notebook in hand, ready to absorb. But then the next step is you actually have to follow through because what do they say after you attend a high-powered conference or after you listen to this podcast? Man, you're all pumped, you're all jacked up, you're all excited, you're ready to rock and roll, you're ready to change the world, and then the worst thing happens. The next day comes and you lose a little bit of that motivation. You lose a little bit of that drive. Well, Ziegler always said, you know, people say motivation doesn't last. Well, he says, well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. Well, the same thing. Keep supercharged daily, but you got to get in a consistent routine day in and day out. So we got a couple comments popping up. Danielle, again, it's all about discipline, doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, whether you feel like it or not. Boy, we could say that over and over and over and over again because most of the time you're not going to feel like it. And it's so far a lot of us at a certain level, people think it's always going to be that way. That's not true. Uh, yeah, it's not true at all. We're all going to have challenges. We're all going to have setbacks. But then also you touched on the perfectionism mindset. And that's a lot of times you get into the paralysis from overanalysis, right? You try and overanalyze things. You try and it's got to be just perfect before I can launch it. Well, it's never going to be perfect. You're always going to be tweaking it. But the thing is, what kind of, you know, and just those that I always got to do it every time. Book's out now, Becoming Bully Proof. I know Jose's got a copy of it there, and definitely got to send you a couple autograph copies to pass out in the group. But I had a mentor keep saying, "Look, do you not realize by you trying to make it perfect, it needed to, it something was there. It is. Jose's got his. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. He said, "Do you realize the number of people that need this message now? They need this book now, and the fact that you're not giving it to them is actually hurting people." And the same thing with your program. I mean, how many people that are in need of what you do, and the longer it took. So I say this to other entrepreneurs out there because I'm working on finalizing our 5-week bully proof program. We got to get it out. We can always tweak, we can always adjust, we can always shift, but we got to execute and get that thing out there because, I mean, what billions of people around the world go to bed every single night lacking hope, faith, confidence, belief in themselves that tomorrow is going to be a better day. So you've got a gift. Share that gift. With that being said, how do we get your gift, Jose? Talk to us, baby.
Well, first of all,
Which gift, right?
yeah. So I was thinking that, but I didn't want to vocalize it. You said it. No, I'm just kidding. Um,
Well, you know what? We're going to hold people for just a second longer because
yeah,
I got this. Uh, family, I know you're on all kinds of shows. You got your own show, but your family probably doesn't listen to anymore because it's your show. But now you're on a different one, and this is airing worldwide. Please, uh, tell, shout out to your lovely wife, your kids, and your new to be child. List their name because everybody loves hearing their name on the air. And then we will get back to the program, get back to the serious stuff.
yes, yes. So special shout out to my beautiful wife, Katie Escobar. Also my children, Noah, Zaylee, Avila, and Sienna. And then a mystery number 5, because all we know it's a boy, but the name is, we already have a name, but it's not coming out until he's born, right? So there's that. So special shout out to my family, absolutely. Thank you for that. In terms of the morning evening routine, what I would say is everyone needs to have one. Everyone should have one. If you're trying to take your personal and professional life to the next level, I am telling you right now, that's been one of the biggest game changers for me in my life outside of reading. Reading has been absolutely, unequivocally life changing for me. I read a book a week. As you can see, I'm surrounded by books everywhere. Being surrounded by books reminds me of how little I know. It keeps me humble. It keeps me thirsty. I use it for reference. It's not about how many books you read. It's about, how many books get through to you, right? So it's not about getting through the books, it's about the books getting through to you. Very, very important stuff. And it's not just about how many books you read, it's about well-read books. How much are you retaining from what you're reading? There's strategies to that, by the way, and I teach that in my program. And it's also outside of just, what you retain, it's what you apply. How do you take what you learn and actually let the, rubber hit the road and actually take off? Like there's a process to the madness in terms of execution and how to take massive action. Chapter 8 in Think and Grow Rich talks about being decisive. We have to have the ability to be decisive and make executive decisions quickly. And very seldomly do we go back and say, oh, that was a bad decision, if we get good at making executive quick decisions. So, yeah, I would say get a morning routine. If you don't do my program, I would love to invite people to reach out to me, and I would love to set up a strategy session and talk about what your current morning routine looks like, what your evening routine looks like, and give you value for free, where I'll just help you and level up your existing stuff, whatever you have in place now. But for anybody who ends up taking my program or doesn't take my program, I'll tell you right now, you need to have something in place. And it's about hitting the mindset, the soul set, the heart set. Robin Sharma talks about in his book, Your 5 a.m. Club, right? The 5 a.m. Club is a phenomenal book, one of the game-changing books that I've read. Your Best Year Ever by Michael Hyatt talks about goal setting. It talks about not only setting goals and the importance of setting goals, right? A goal is not a goal until it's written down. It's also how you're setting the goals. There used to be the SMART framework, right, of how to set a goal, the SMART goal, right? But now there's a smarter, ER at the end goal. And he
Yes, there
talks
is.
about how to not just be a goal setter, but be a goal hitter, and that's a book that has spoken to what I've done. Also, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. That's another great, great read. So there's so many resources out there where you can go learn on your own, and you can spend 10 years and go refine your morning evening routine if you want to. But I've mastered that department. Obviously, there's always a next level. I don't care how good you are, I don't care how smart you are, I don't care how much money you make. There's always a next level. So I'm still leveling up, and I will continue to level up because we never arrive. But I'll tell you right now, if you want to level up your morning routine and evening routine like never before, you can join the program or you can take the time and do it yourself. But regardless, I'll tell you right now, you have to do something about that, because that makes all the difference on how you start your day, how you end your day, and how you maximize your productivity within those bookends of your day.
Talking about books, got to have bookends, right? Or the books will fall over. Your life will collapse and fall over if you don't have the start, perfect finish. But we got to have that perfect middle too. Which life is a roller coaster, right? So what is perfect? Well, perfect to me is going to be something different than it is to Jose. It's going to be different than it is to you, whatever that may be. But here's the thing: you got to start off. And Zig Ziglar always talked about you don't have to be great to start, but you got to start to be great, and you got
Yep.
to start somewhere. And we're going to love you right where you're at. Yeah, wherever that may be. You're well up, maybe you're down, maybe you're in the middle. But here's the thing: nobody needs a flat line. You always think, man, if life was just more consistent. Well, yeah, it would I guess be, I don't know if it'd be enjoyable or not. Everybody likes the roller coaster because it goes up and down. But the thing about a flat line is when you flat line, what are you? You're dead. So you need the ups and downs. Now the peaks and the valleys, that's when we get lost a little bit. So we want to kind of level that out a little bit. That it's nothing greater than the high. I'm listening to a book right now, The Hero's Journey, or A Hero's Mission by Donald Miller. I've read all of his books, and this is his newest one. And he talks about how he just when he finished his book, he's boy, just couldn't wait for the finish. Couldn't wait. It's like a race, and you're there, you're done, the exhilaration. But then you have this lull period. You have this down period, and sometimes that down period is massive. It's hard as heck to dig your way out of it. But that gets back to the Ziegler philosophy of, motivation doesn't last, neither does bathing. That's why you do it daily. Well, like Jose just talked about, every morning have a plan. Go to bed, have a plan for that next morning. Wake up and execute. Easy to say? Well, yeah, it's easy to say. Easy to do? Not necessarily. But what's easy to do is also easy not to do. But I always like to come back full circle and say, but guess what? If it's easy not to do, it's just as easy to do. All right. That's where you started off. Oh, it's easier said than done. Everything's easier said than done. Get rid of that. That's a limiting belief. Make it happen. And Jose, we got, my goodness, people. Let's go, Jose. Yes, apply what you learn. Hello from Mandy. Hello, Mandy. And James giving the thumbs up. Mean machine creating magic. Okay. When we reach the enough is enough, it's really enough, and we move on. That's a good point there too. And we got James Miller says boot camp, baby. Can you know what that? I'm not sure what that is, but
he's in the morning evening routine mastery program right now, so I think he's referring to that being a boot camp experience.
Okay. And then Daniela Roman says proximity is power. All right, that's even better. All right, proximity is key, but the key is power. Good. The key is a follow up, she says. Oh, good stuff. What a phenomenal thought process by Master Grogan. Thank you, Sanjar. That's my next door neighbor. He's a tennis pro, and he's a phenomenal human being. Goodness gracious. Amazing feedback quality. Man, oh man, buddy, we're lighting it up here. Tapping into the knowledge. Execute. Mandy's on execute. James, 8-week training for 80 years of life change. That's what James Miller said. And life is as consistent as you create it to be. Good stuff here, man. Just think, Jose, the group that you formed, the Connected Leaders Academy, the Entrepreneurial Bookshelf, and so many other outreaches, all these people are commenting. They're taking time out of their busy day to be with us. Plus the thousands are going to be listening to the podcast, and the many times this is going to be shared and streamed over and over and over again. That little, we talk about martial arts, the pebble in the pond, right? You throw a pebble, it creates ripples. Well, I'm a big believer in let's collectively, it's kind of like the power of the fist. Individuals, well, they can do a little bit, but individuals by themselves often fail. But the power of the fist, unity, strength, justice, honor, and power, man, now that can make an impact. Fingers, probably going to break, trying to break a board. A fist together, that's going to have some damage. You're going to do some damage, going to break that board, it's going to overcome your fears. Same thing with a pebble in a pond. I throw a pebble. Jose throws a pebble. Mandy throws a pebble. Zanjar, James throws a pebble. Roman the Roman family throws a pebble. That's great. But why don't we collectively work together and pick up a massive boulder and throw that in a pond and flood the banks? That's how we make a change in society. That's how we make society a happier, healthier, and safer place to live. And when people are happier and healthier, man, they're going out there doing what they can to continue to improve the lives of others. Happy, healthy people aren't bullying others. Happy, healthy people aren't disrespecting others. Happy, healthy people aren't shooting up schools. No, happy, healthy people are making the world a better place. And folks, by listening in, taking time out of your busy day, we're tapping into Jose's brain here, man, and all the other guests that we have on. The thousands upon thousands of hours of education, of hundreds and hundreds of books they've read. It's right here at your fingertips. That's why I encourage you. Of course, I'm going to be selfish and say, hey, make sure you listen to mine daily, my podcasts and live streams, and Jose's. But there's 24 hours in a day. There's 1,440 minutes in a day. There's 86,400 seconds in a day. Man, get off of social media for a little bit, unless you're listening to this, and do something positive. It's your life, man. At the end of your life, you know what the number one regret is? Not doing more, not living a life. Life gets here too quick. I'll be 52 in a month or two, July. 52, holy smokes. And it took me up until I was like 42 to learn how to read because I chose not to. We're sharing this with you. Created this. Got Jose on here. He's sharing it with you. Please reach out, ask questions. Please connect with people like this. This is what's going to help you live what I like to call your best kick in life. And you see it on the back there? Kicking Life is all about, instead of life kicking your butt, you're kicking life's butt. All right, Jose, tell us about the Connected Leaders Academy. Easy for me to spit out.
Yeah, you got it. I got the t-shirt on here, as you can tell.
There it is. And you got some other swag too. But most importantly, and I've been a part of, and I'm sure folks listening have all been part of countless groups before, and you get a little bit of out of them, which is good. Even if it's not the best group, you learn what not to do or groups to avoid. But your group, you've got to be an entrepreneur, and I'll let you list the accolades, and then please tell us how to be a part of that group.
Yeah, so the Connected Leaders Academy came to me as an idea, literally this year. So in January of this year, 2022, 2 weeks into the year, I said to myself, you know what? I need a recurring revenue type program. I need to launch another business, right? And so I said, let me ride momentum and let me use my strategies that I've learned and apply to something else. So in 2 weeks' time, created the name, got the domain, got the logo, figured out the price points, figured out all the details, the benefits, and literally everything. In 2 weeks, I launched it. I launched it January 25th of this year. It's been 3 months, and we are now at 152 members strong. We're 152 members, and these are not free members, these are paid members. So people are paying their way into the membership, and it's now in 10 countries. We just expanded internationally to, I think it was yesterday, South Africa. We're in Romania, Australia, UK, New Zealand, Colombia, Pakistan, Guatemala, Canada, the list goes on. So 10 countries internationally. We are also in 34 states, coast to coast in the US. So very, very exciting. In terms of the makeup of the Connected Leaders Academy, we have entrepreneurs from all different backgrounds. I'm talking about martial arts school owners, podcasters, radio show host individuals, real estate investors, web designers, trainers, coaches, speakers, publishing companies. The list goes on, all types of entrepreneurial backgrounds. We also have different experience levels. So we have some folks that are on the beginner side, 5 to 7, maybe beginner entrepreneurs, right? We have multimillionaires in the membership, and we have everybody in between. So there's a big spread in terms of experience levels, in terms of income levels, and different types of backgrounds. To add to that, in terms of the kind of people we're looking for, there's 3 requirements to be a member in the Connected Leaders Academy, right? First of all, number 1, you have to be an entrepreneur. It's not for entrepreneurs. I love entrepreneurs because I get to coach them. I get to keep training them. I get to pour into them. I love to add value to people's lives. So I love those people because they inspire me too, right? But it's really for people who are already established in a business. So they have to have a business first and foremost, number 1. Number 2, they have to already have a success track record, right, in terms of their business. And number 3, their ego has to fit through a door. And I say that all the time jokingly, but the reality, it's true. There are so many people that I've spoken to, that I know, that I've seen, that have these inflated egos that think they're God's gift to earth, and they come into this group. It takes one to ruin it for everyone. They're going to be like, look at how great I am. Look at how much I know and how successful I am. Who wants to learn from me? And they start looking down at everybody to almost like they're on top of the world, right? No. What I'm looking for is servant leadership. Heart-centered individuals, people that understand they have to give and pour out into others first. And the more you give, the more you get. And they understand that it doesn't matter how big they are in their business, right? There's always a next level. And they also understand that you never arrive. So that is the type of makeup of the culture of the people that we have in the membership. And every single 152 plus people that are in the membership has had a one-on-one conversation with me, because I weed out the people that just don't belong for whatever reason. And I've already said no to 25-ish people for one of those 3 reasons, or all of the above. And a few have said no to me, which is perfectly fine because it's not for everybody, right? But a lot have joined. And this is organic growth, Rich. I haven't done a single dollar in paid ads. This is just, initially, I hand selected the first 50 people and said, come on, let me find the biggest fish that I know I can put under this umbrella. People that know me, because I've met thousands of people over the last 10 years on my own dime, from all the traveling and the 10X events that I go to, and you name it. And I've also met thousands of people in the martial arts world from all the travels that I've done there. And I said, the common denominator is me. They all know me, but they don't know each other. So that's why I decided to start my own tribe. And the reasons why people are joining this tribe is very simple. They're going to grow personally and professionally. They're going to scale their influence. They're going to level up their businesses, right? They're going to move the needle. They're going to make more money, more clients, more profit, right? They're going to develop their skill sets because we're all working on something. There's areas where, for example, if I'm in the membership and I'm weak in certain areas, there's somebody else who's masterful in that department, and vice versa. Iron sharpens iron. And lastly, they're gonna grow their circle. Their network is going to start to expand, which means more opportunities, and you name it. So it's a month-to-month membership. I believe wholeheartedly people are going to get 10, 20, 30 times the ROI all the time. The money is just an afterthought in terms of what I'm charging. And at the end of the day, it's a tax write-off. Fully believe in what we're putting together here. By the end of this year, Rich, I have to say this. By the end of this year, we're going to be at 1,000 members. And do you know what that means? Right now, we're well over the $10,000 a month mark already in membership alone, right? By the end of this year, this is $1 million business in 1 year. And just remember that I called it on your show. I haven't said this publicly, but I'm saying it right now. It's going to be $1 million business, and it's going to have the best of the best. I'm getting the best of the best under one umbrella, one tribe that we can all call family, and have the culture of people that are looking to help each other grow, learn, and connect and impact the world, right? That's really what it's all about. And the more impact you make, by default, you will make the income. And I believe Zig Ziglar says it best. If you help enough people get what they want, you're going to get what you want. And that's really what this is all about, right? That's what this is all about. Next year, third quarter of 2023, we're going to have our in-person summit. 500 plus people are going to be there from all over the world, and it's going to be in Maryland. So stay tuned for that. We are building a tribe here, and it is growing exponentially. People are referring left and right. I'm just super excited about it.
Boom. Well, that wasn't just a pebble in a pond. That wasn't even a boulder in a pond. That was megaton in the pond. And now we have flooded the banks, and we're going to flood the world, baby, not just United States, but the world. Because, like I said, making society is our whole world a happier, healthier, and safer place to live. So with that, we got all kinds of questions coming in, which I'm going to address in just a second here. So with this program, I'm thinking, my gosh, I'd love to do it, but I don't know. I don't think I got $1,000 a month to spend on that. Well, truth is, you do, but it's not $1,000. What's the price here?
$97. It's $97, which is really an afterthought. Like, I priced it so low because I understand that as an entrepreneur, we are invested in so many different places financially. We're so busy with so many different things we're doing. So I said, what's the lowest barrier of entry to where it's going to be less than an hour a week? And it's only $97, which is almost a laughable price point that you don't even think about, because there's 10 benefits to being a member. I'm not going to go through it all right now. If you want to know more information about the membership, reach out to me and let's talk about it.
Yep, reach out, or if you wanted to post the flyer on this
Yep.
link on the live stream, that would be fantastic. And folks, you get like I said, we could spend 4 or 5 hours talking about that alone. I'm a member. I'm blessed and honored. I had a member of the Ziegler family who reached out to me, and I had been meaning, it was on my to-do list to connect with Jose, because during the COVID thing, I hadn't seen him in a couple of years, but you did a great job, obviously, organizing the Speaking for the Empower Summit, so we connected that way, and then we chatted nearly a whole day at one of the events in Maryland, which was fantastic. And so it was on my list to reach out to Jose just to see how he's doing with the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf. I saw that popping up and a few other things. And the next thing you know, I was connected third party. He said, hey, I got to reach out to this Jose guy. He's running this Connected Leaders Academy. I'm like, well, I know Jose Escobar. Heck yeah. So kind of, well, that's it's almost like your reticular activating system, right? You put it in the frontal lobe of your brain, their subconscious mind, of write it down, reach out, and then suddenly, boom, all the opportunities come. Good stuff. $97, folks. Boom. All right.
It's a no-brainer.
It is an absolute no-brainer. So Daniela Roman asked again, Jose, how important is it to be fit both mentally and physically? I don't believe we can be 100% successful if we don't have both. Well, I'm going to jump on that and answer, and I'm going to let, if you don't mind, Jose, and then I'm going to turn it over to you. I believe, and it's a thing I've talked about, I didn't make the cut in Becoming Bully Proof, but it will be in the next book, Defeating the Bully Within, which talks about the meanest, nastiest bully we ever face is the bully in our mind, the one we hear in our mind and we see in the mirror. I believe we have a three-legged table of life, and the three legs are the mental, spiritual, and physical. And I put them in that order. It's kind of the way Ziegler put it, was mentally you got to be right, in order to plant the right seed. Spiritually, you got to be in touch, your heart. I'm a Christian, so obviously I believe in God. And if you don't believe in God, I just believe you need to believe in something higher and bigger than you are. That's all about being humble. And third is physically. Now, the three-legged table, they have to be in balance in order to balance your emotional health. Your emotional health is the table that you build your life on. And if those three legs aren't harmoniously balanced, you're going to go through life on a wobbly table, and it's hard to build a foundation. I tell you that from personal experience, because growing up, my grandma would always say, Richie, are you putting God first? And occasionally Richie would lie and say yes, but I never was. I was putting myself first in every way, shape, or form. I was baptized in 2017, and that's what helped stabilize that three-legged table in my life. Mentally, it was always, I would say I made the top half of the graduating class possible because I wasn't in it. And reading, I didn't know I could read until 2012 because I chose not to. So that was another weak leg. Now, physically, I thought I could make up for it. I could outwork everybody. I grew up on a farm, and it was always a competition in life. You know, anybody that ever doubted me, yeah, that was driving fuel. But it got to the point where I'm fighting ghosts in my brain. Forgive me, but a big F you to the world, to anybody who ever doubted me. Well, all that got me at the end of the day was fighting ghosts. So it's because it wasn't spiritually in alignment. Mentally, it wasn't in alignment. By bringing those three tables together, I was able to balance that emotional health table and build a strong platform from there. Now, that doesn't mean I got to keep an eye on them, because that emotional health table would dip and dive, but at least now it's on my radar. I'm aware of it. And that's what I'm great. Thank you so much for the question. But I wanted to answer that because that is something near and dear to my heart, because I know for the longest time I was standing on a one-legged table. I was riding everything on the physical and the ability to outwork and then prove everybody wrong. Yeah, that can be driving fuel, but that is no way to go through life. So I'll bring you in to close that one out.
Yeah, I look at it as like the two oars and then the rudder on the boat, right? The rudder is God, right? So your spiritual life, your soul. Then you have the physical and the mental, right? And somewhere in there is the emotional state. But it's like all interconnected, right? So we have to look at this as interconnected pieces, just like there's a direct mind body connection. You know, there's a great book called Spark out there by Dr. Rady, I believe. He talks about the mind body connection and how new neural pathways start to happen in our brain. We get smarter and our brain grows by stimulating pieces of the brain that we normally wouldn't, like playing a different instrument, like learning a language, like reading a book, like brushing your teeth with your left hand, like walking backwards, all these different things that you would do. And then you add some physical fitness in there, and then boom, sparks start to fly, and all these happy juices in your brain start to fire off, and that's how things start to happen, right? So for me, it goes back to the morning evening routine. It is not only important, it is absolutely critical that you are mentally sound and physically fit in order to take your life to the next level. And it is super important. It's like the water boiling, right? It boils at 212 degrees, not at 211. At 211 is really hot, but it's not boiling until it gets to 212. The Kaizen philosophy, 1% better every single day. These are the concepts that go back to the mental state and the physical state. I'm on the day 73 now of 75 hard. That's a program that is absolutely strenuous. 50% of the people who start it fail. Most people never finish. And this is my second time around. Do I have to do 75 hard? Absolutely not. But I choose to live in discomfort. I choose to seek the path of the most resistance because I understand that that is where the glory lies. That is the path that's going to pave the way to ultimate high level success that most people only dream about, because you got to put yourself in discomfort. So do I enjoy taking cold showers? No. Do I enjoy doing 2 workouts a day? One has to be outside? No. Do I enjoy drinking a gallon of water every single day? No. Do I enjoy eating healthy foods and no junk food and no alcohol for 75 days? Absolutely not. But guess what? I signed up for it voluntarily because I understand if I'm not hard on myself, life is going to be hard on me as a default. So I'd rather be the one to choose to do it and do it the right way. And we only get one go around in this life, right? They say you only live once. I think that's baloney. I think the real statement is you only die once, but you live daily, right? And that's really what life is all about. So yes, to answer your question, Daniela, in a simple form, it's critical to be mentally sound and physically fit, and to make sure you lock and load the addressing those things on the front end of your day. and you address it on the back end of your day every single day, Monday through Friday at least, because that is what's going to give you the self-care that we all need. We all need to fill up our tanks. Our oxygen tanks are constantly doing this. So we need to take the time to fill up our tanks with reading books, journaling, affirmations, visualization, getting in a workout, prayer, breath work, meditation, commonplacing, managing your schedule. Like you gotta if you don't plan your day's gonna plan you. You need to know what it looks like. All of these things are what I teach in my program and the morning evening routine mastery, and you should have that in place. And when you do those things consistently over time, they say there's a phenomenal quote that says, commitment to continuity establishes emotional stability. So if you're committed to something continuously, like the pig and the chicken, right? The chicken was involved, the pig was committed because that's bacon, right? There's a big difference between the two. You got to be fully committed to this journey of what we call success. And success is a planned event. They say the 6 P's: proper prior planning prevents poor performance. How are you preparing today? How are you setting yourself up to win? That's what it's all about. Great question, Daniela.
Oh my gosh. And along the same lines, but two different interpretations, right? I've never heard the rowing and the oar before, but having God as your guide. I mean, that's fantastic, fantastic. So man, so much to unpack there. And folks, I always encourage you, after you listen once, listen again. That's another Ziegler. He always talked about, because when you listen to something a second time, you're going to hear it from a higher level of thinking. So you're automatically going to pick up on something that you missed the first or second time. If you listen to it a third time, that you missed, simply because you can only take in so much at that time. And you're going to swear, it's like if you read a book more than once, you're going to swear that the author came into your house and rewrote the book in the middle of the night, because you're going to see things that you didn't see the first time, because you're looking, listening, and hearing, absorbing from a higher level than you were the first time. And of course, I always encourage you to please share our live streams, our podcast with others out there who could benefit from this message, especially if it's a friend or family member. Why? Well, how do you get everything you want in life? By helping enough other people get what they want. If they're happier and healthier, isn't that going to benefit you? Heck yeah, it is. Well, the same thing with joining the Connected Leaders Academy. It's going to benefit. It's going to benefit you because you're surrounding yourself with other individuals. A small little investment, and the reason there's an investment, because people ask all the time, well, if it's so good, then why do you have to pay for it? We have to pay for it because that's that commitment that you're making to yourself. It was free. Free is just that, nothing. It's not. It doesn't merit that. You're not going to take it serious. You're not going to show up. That's why there's a fee. All right, man.
Can I
Oh
say
man.
something really quick to that fee piece you just said?
Absolutely.
Asking the question, why is there a fee, is like going to a dealership to get one of these like high level Mercedes Benz, those $150,000 cars, or a H2 Hummer. You walk in there and you say, how many gallons per mile? You know, like, like that's not a question you ask. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur, you understand that you're not going to get a free stapler. You're not going to get the paper for free. You're not going to get the light working in your facility for free. You got to pay. You got to invest in yourself, right? It's called an investment in yourself. That is what entrepreneurship is all about. So I would be shocked if an entrepreneur asked me, why are you charging me for your membership? Well, I say maybe the membership isn't for you. It's that simple.
I have never heard it that way. That is fantastic. But you're exactly right. And if you don't invest in yourself, it's one of those. I'm sure we don't have people listening, but I'm blessed that people from all walks of life listen to the show, and I was there at one point in time as well. I mean, and people have listened to the show, heard this many, many, many times. I was the worst businessman on the planet. I almost ran our martial arts academy like average Joes in dodgeball. Just pay me when you can. Try and make it up to me. I could never pay the bills. My wife took over all the administrative side. That stopped. She goes, here, you're wanting to give money to Tim Tebow, St. Jude's Children's Miracle Network, the Red Cross, and all these other charities, and of course, give 10% to church. But we can't even feed our own kids because you're not charging people. Now, that's another way we could have a whole show on that, on the importance. Now I'm able to give to all those charities more than I ever dreamed imaginable. And just think about the impact that's having on the Tim Tebow Foundation, the TTF, St. Jude's, Children's Miracle Network, I mean, and countless others. Why? Because everybody's now paying for the services. And it's allowed me the opportunity to now, our academy, we're actually in the midst of discussing selling the name Grogan's Martial Arts, because I'm in Florida now, the academy's in Illinois, so I can focus more solely on the Bullyproof brand. That would not be possible if I do a better job of surrounding myself with people like Jose and some of his mentors and learn how to be an entrepreneur, not a entrepreneur, not a broke hobbyist, but actual entrepreneur. Good point. Thank you, as always, Jose. I'm going to get through the comments here because there's so many of them here. Flood Society with boulders, live, love, leave a legacy. Yes, if we in life we regret more of what we didn't do than what we do. Absolutely. Each cog in the wheel makes it go round. There was a comment about the Connected Leaders Academy. Let's see. How did your journey of self growth start? Uh, Let me hold on. We'll get to that in a second, just Sanjar, because we're getting close to the timeline. Emotions are the charge that feeds your actions or ideas. Yes, it is. What's your number one advice in self improvement in all areas of life? And like walking backwards downstairs, it's so natural to me now. Well, be careful there, Mandy. 75 hard, Don Callahan. The oh boy, I don't know this word. The shrinkinism philosophy. Playing, I don't. Did I say it? Shrinkinism?
Shinkanesen.
Shrinkinism. I'm not aware of that. What? And you have to pay to go to college. Yes, you do. Value-driven business model. Good stuff. So two quick questions there, Jose. And my gosh, the hour has flown by, buddy. I knew it would. You and I get together.
It's been fun.
Yeah. Sanjar asked, how did your journey in self growth start? How did it get started? Do you have and that
Um,
almost ties into what Mandy had asked too. What's your number one advice to self improvement in all areas of life? Well, I'm almost thinking all areas of life is that persistent consistency that, plan your day. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I'll definitely let you answer that, Jose. And then also with Sanjar, how did your journey in self growth start?
the journey in self growth started. I can easily state that very quickly. Amway.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yes.
Wait. Hold the phone. Do you know Sanjar?
No. No.
Or did he contact you before this? Or are you
No
guys are you
clue.
guys
No
punking
clue.
me? Are you guys
Sanders.
punking me right now? Is that what you're doing? So Sanjar is a part of Amway,
Oh,
and
really? Wow. What a
and
coincidence.
my wife, her dad back in the '70s was a part of Amway, and Desi, my wife, went to an Amway camp and has an Amway thing, go for the gold and this and that, the Ziegler philosophies that she hadn't looked at. She was like 8 or 9 years old, and met Sanjar, and he talked about what he does. So she found that, and the reason she found it because we recently moved to Florida. So it was one of those things that got packed in during the unpacking phase. Thought she'd never ever use it. So, Sanjar is an
Wow.
incredible human being. I'm blessed beyond words to have a neighbor like Sanjar, tennis pro, and just amazing human being. So, I just holy cow, you're talking about that, and that's what he does for a living, and it's incredible at it. So, and Sanjar, I'm counting on you, buddy. Get this book in the hands of all the Amwayers. All right, Jose, I interrupted. Go ahead,
Yeah,
buddy.
no, that's amazing. First of all, Sanjar, pleasure. We should just connect on a virtual coffee to get to know each other. I'm intrigued, but um, John Crow, yeah, John Crow is the man. John Crow, I think his son-in-law is David Salt, which I met a couple of times and was able to seek some mentorship there. But back in the day, I was like 17 years old in Amway, and I was like gung ho, and I had an amazing mentor. He was an orthopedic surgeon, Leonard George, Dr. Arlene and Dr. Leonard George, a married couple. God rest his soul. He passed away. He had a brain tumor. We had the same birthday. So he's no longer with us, but he was one of my mentors at the time. He's the one who introduced me to Amway, and that was amazing. And anyway, so I did really well there. I met all these people. I was always getting mentored by all these multimillionaires. And Bill Britt was actually my direct in the lineage, I guess you could say. I was part of Britt Worldwide through all the way down to Chris Charest. And Chris Charest was the guy who took me under his wing outside of Dr. Leonard George. And he always gave me all kinds of high level mentorship. He told me one thing that was so funny. That's great. He said, listen, never wrestle with a pig in mud. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, because you get dirty and the pig likes it. And he's talking about like debating with somebody who he's not worth debating with, right? So I was like, that's so true. So I avoid those type of things now. But anyway, so in Amway, I was like getting people said I was getting brainwashed. I'm like, some of us need a brainwashing. So I was getting brainwashed with positivity, just listening to CDs and audios and reading books and going to seminars and conventions and seeking mentorship. And it was like a vicious cycle of reading books and listening to CDs and going to events, books, CDs, events, books, CDs, events. Oh, mentorship. Oh, another little event here. And I did that for like 5 years. And I was young and very impressionable at that time, right? And that's when the journey started, where I was like a personal development junkie. I just loved, all of that stuff. And then I ran into John Maxwell. Then I started learning about Zig Ziglar, and I started learning about all these great, Tony Robbins, and the list goes on and on. Brendan Burchard, Les Brown, and it was a wrap. And that's where my journey started. What was the other question?
And Sanjar jumped on there. He said, John Crow and put my mentor.
That's amazing. John Crow is the man. He's very high level.
And Sandra, if you're still on the line there, is that the gentleman that came over that I met that actually lives across the way from us in Esplanade here in our community? Let's see if I can find that other question. Great show as always from Chris. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Well-driven business model, Don Callahan. And let's see the other question. Don put bacon and eggs. I guess that was the big comment. But I love the wrestling with the pig there. You're going to
Yep.
get muddy, and the pig loves it.
Yep. So true.
It was from oops, where are we at here? Mandy. She said, "What's your number one advice to self improvement in all areas of life?"
So number one, a piece of advice. There's so much I could say, but if I just had to narrow it down to what has happened to exponential growth for me, is massive action. I can't the ability to execute, the ability to say, you know what, I'm gonna just pull the trigger, because we get stuck in this mental constipation of, oh, I need to think about it, let me review it, let me consult with this person or that person, and then look at my finances, and then look at this, and then evaluate my schedule, and then take a look at where I am in life and my journey, and to see. And before you know it, by the time you've been doing all that thinking, somebody else already took action. And that person who already took action while you're doing a lot of thinking is the exact person that's going to get all the things in life that you want, because there is a power in taking massive action, not just action, Rich, not just action, massive action, because massive action leads to massive exponential S curve results, right, in life. And that's what it's all about. We got to hit that area of critical mass in our personal life, in our professional life. And that requires the ability to execute. So if I had to say one thing, jump out the plane and figure out how to land. Figure out your way down, no parachute. Okay, how am I gonna become Inspector Gadget or MacGyver in the air as I'm trying to land? But just take action. Don't wait for everything to line up, because the stars will never line up. You're not gonna have this random epiphany. It's like, oh, now is the time. There's never gonna be a perfect time. Can I tell you that? There's never gonna be a perfect time. The power of now. Now is the time. The power of now. The time is now. So whatever you're putting off that you haven't taken advantage of yet, take action. And very seldomly will you look back and say it was a poor decision, if you get really good at making executive decisions. And last thing I'll say to that is, I have a way how I gauge making executive decisions. Immediately, if it's not a heck yes, it's an automatic no. I'll say that again. If you pitch something to me, if there's an opportunity, if there's an event, if there's a membership, if there is anything, going on a date with somebody, whatever, and it's not an absolute heck yeah, like a no-brainer, like, oh, absolutely, this makes sense, then the answer is automatically no. It's not, let me think about it. It's not, let me get back to you. It's not, oh, I'll put you in the garage and reconsider down the line. No, it's just no. It's not a good time right now. I will maybe revisit one day, but I'm not even going to put it somewhere to think about, because I have too much in my life to think about, right? Remember, 5 kids now. I have to be a good husband. I have to be a good father and spend time with my family. I'm a martial artist. I got to train. I got to find time to work out and stay in shape. I have a morning routine. I wake up at 4 a.m. every Monday through Friday. I got to, have my evening routine. I have to work my day job 50 hours a week. I'm still, fully employed. And I have two six-figure businesses. I mean, the list goes on, right? My son plays travel baseball. I'm always, going up the Mid-Atlantic and his school and you name it, right? I'm very involved in my church, Knight of Columbus in my church. There's a lot going on. So when somebody says to me, I need to think about it, I'm a little too busy right now, or I don't have the money, I'm just like, you know what? Maybe you have to go back to the drawing board and evaluate your why. Maybe you have to go back to the drawing board and evaluate, how bad do I want it? Because at the end of the day, when a decision is right, you just know it. And if you have a hard time pulling the trigger when you feel the decision is right, that's a problem. That is a problem. And a lot of people outthink themselves and overthink themselves outside of what is right there in your face. And a lot of times it's divine intervention. And success happens when opportunity and preparedness collide, right? So, anyways, that's my advice.
That it's fantastic, and yeah, a lot of times, well, the old. I'm telling you, it was an old way of thinking for me. I had a very limited, fixed mindset, and then I read that book by Dr. Carol DeWitt called Mindset. Holy cow, what an eye opener that was! And then, of course, John Maxwell. You'd mentioned him. I've absorbed all his leadership books. Holy smokes! And he calls it an abundance or growth mindset. I'm sorry. She called it. What did she call it? She called it fixed. And what did she call it? I confuse them. Well, one said fixed and limited, and the other said growth and abundance. And but anyway, they interchange. But I'm telling you, for the longest time, it was fixed. I never would have wanted to admit it, but it was. It was what I've always done this way. I've always thought this way. Why should I think differently? Well, you got to think differently in order to achieve things. You got to get, and someone else would post it in the chat a little bit ago. You got to get uncomfortable, or got to get comfortable being uncomfortable in order to see the success that you want. You got to continue moving forward and change. And heck yes, and excellent advice, so powerful. The power of the present moment. So many comments. The ship sails when you pause to overthink. And I think, what did you say about something about mental constipation?
Yep, that's what it is.
I've heard that before. That's good. And I run into people a lot, and that I'll see them. I haven't seen them in years. Hey, how's things going? And the thing I get a lot here is, well, I'm just waiting for God to tell me what to do. And I just, and sometimes I'll just say, okay. But here lately, I've been very vocal about it. I was like, you know what? God gives you the field. He may even give you the shovel, but he's not going to dig the hole. You've got to do the darn work. You got to be willing to take charge. You got to be willing to do something. Yes, God is going to help you, but he sure as heck isn't going to do it for you. And that's kind of the message here. You've got to be willing to, we get in that comfort zone, which is a way of bullying ourselves. We get too comfortable. We want to grow. We want to be successful, and kind of almost putting a lid on this thing here, because we've gone a little over, which I'm so grateful for your time, Jose, and all the comments. My gosh, folks, thank you very, very much. Is the fact that we get to the point of somebody may say, well, 75 hard sounds like you're miserable because you don't enjoy taking cold showers, which I do every day. It's a little different here in Florida than it was up north, I'll tell you that. Taking a cold shower in January or February in Illinois, that's a little different than taking one in
Right.
Florida. But I still do it because it's about the mental discipline of getting through it. But you're uncomfortable getting up early in the morning. You're uncomfortable doing your day plan. You're uncomfortable eating healthy foods. You're uncomfortable. Well, why do you do it then? Well, Jose, why do you do it? What's the $1 million answer to that question? That 10-cent question.
I do it because success demands inconvenience. Success demands discomfort. Success demands an uphill battle. If I ever feel like I'm plateauing, if I feel like I'm comfortable, if I feel like, I've arrived, that's the beginning of the end. So like I have to always feel like I am in a place where it's not simple, it's not easy. The only time I will ever feel complacent or relaxed or comfort, some level of comfort, is when I'm on vacation. But outside of that, let me tell you, it is nonstop discomfort, Uphill. It's an uphill battle. John Maxwell says it best. He says, the success is uphill all the way, all the way. So that's why I do that.
Well, and I think obviously the reward is, what does Jim Rome talk about? We're going to live. There's two times of regret, right? The regret of self-discipline, or the regret of not having self-discipline, or the reward of having that self-discipline to do what you know you need to do, especially at the times you don't want to do it. So, regret, man, that weighs tons upon tons. That self-discipline is a small price to pay to have the life, to live the life, to be who you were born to be. And my interpretation is you're giving back, you're thanking God for the gifts that you have, for the blessing that you have, by utilizing those gifts, utilizing those blessings to impact others, to utilize your God-given talents to make an impact in the world, to leave a legacy. And so that's what you're doing, buddy. And it's such a blessing to know you, to be a part of the Connected Leaders Academy, and to have you on the show. Gosh darn, thank you so very much.
Yeah, I'm honored to even have you as a member in the Connected Leaders Academy, to be in your inner circle, to be connected with you. You're a man after God's own heart. I see that in you. I see you as like this, like selfless, giving, successful person who's all about growth and development and impacting the world and making your dent in the world. And those are the kind of people I want to be around. Those are the kind of people that I want to flock with and kind of like run side by side with. So the honor is mine, and it's a pleasure, absolute pleasure, to be here today with you. Thank you for considering me to be a guest on your show and adding value to your audience.
Gosh darn, well now you touched my heart here, get me all emotional at the end. But I wear my cross, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I finally know, I get emotional here at the end here. You make me feel good about myself, get goosebumpy here. What Grandma meant about putting God first. And King David, he's a man after God's heart. King David was my favorite king of all times. I think as kids, growing up, everybody, David and Goliath, the ultimate Bible story of overcoming the big mean Goliath, the big mean bully. And that's everything for the Grogan's Bullyproof brand, everything in the martial arts industry. But it took a while for me to realize that, because people ask literally on a daily basis, how do you know what your why is? How do you know what your calling is? How do you know what you're meant to do? And I'll tell you, to answer that, and maybe Jose, if you've got a different answer, we'll close with this. It's what you feel in your heart, what is weighing on your heart. You never know why I don't know why I went through the bullying I went through as a kid. Why at points in time I thought about giving up on life. I'm very transparent. I didn't used to talk about those things, but that was the case because I wasn't right. I wasn't in the right frame of mind, mentally, spiritually, physically. I wasn't putting God first. I don't know why I went through those challenges, but now I understand my purpose and my why, and I'm doing everything I can to share it with the world. But I've got to have the right guide, and my guide and mentor is God, is Jesus Christ, and living in that. And if it's not for you, I'm not here to turn anybody off. I'm not here to cram anything down anybody's throat. I'm just saying, look, set something above yourself, because if not, like the requirements to be part of the Connected Leaders Academy is your ego, your head has to fit through the door. I believe ego is an acronym for edging God out or edging greatness out. And for the longest time, my ego, which was a false shell to make up for my own insecurities, was as big as the room, but it was all false. It was all fake to cover up for my own insecurities. Well, I'm telling you, by getting things right in your life, by serving, to be a servient soul to help out others. How do you get everything going in life? By helping enough other people get what they want. So there is what I believe. And how do you find your calling? Is what you do, what you feel comfortable about, what you do with, you didn't have to worry about finances, but also what you're willing to fight tooth and nail for in order to make a change in society. Jose, one last closing comment, piggybacking off that.
Yeah, in life, we're all going to have a cross that we need to bear, a cross that we need to carry. And it's going to look different for everyone. And sometimes we feel like we just want to get rid of our problems. We want to get rid of that challenge. And we'd rather be in somebody else's shoes. And the reality is, once you step into that somebody else's shoes, you're going to want your place right back, because it's not easier on the other side. The grass is not greener on the other side. You have a journey that you are taking in this life because it is meant for you. And there is a purpose. This is a purpose-driven life, which is a great book, by the way. Rick Warren. And this is what we're here. We're here to fulfill our purpose, our mission. And my purpose in life is to love, honor, and serve God. And then everything after that is going to be gravy. It's going to be great. I'm going to be a great family man. I'm going to be a great husband, a great father, a great entrepreneur, a great contributor to society, a great martial artist, a great person in general, right? Employee, employer, because I have the foundations right. And for me, my foundation is love, honoring, and serving God, and embracing everything that comes with it. Because a lot of times it's going to be pain, it's going to be struggle, it's going to be strife, it's going to be misery, it's going to be, a lot of things are going to happen. But that is what we're here to do. We're here to fiat, right? Let it be done unto me. And that is what it comes down to. And that's the way I live. Because when I live that way, whenever something comes, I'm like, oh, there it is. I knew it was coming. I'm not surprised, and I'm waiting. I'm ready to embrace it out of love for God, and that's what it's all about. So, those are my final thoughts. Thank you again. I appreciate it.
God bless you, Jose. Thank you. And Sandro, Rich is the best neighbor ever. Thank you, Sandro. I appreciate that, buddy. You're the best neighbor, so I'm blessed beyond words. Oh my gosh, folks. Well, hey, golly, I can't say it enough. Thank you so very much, and how busy you are and everything you're doing here. Please, in the comments on the social media pages there, post the flyer for the Connected Leaders Academy, and hopefully some friends that are listening will reach out and connect and be a part of that academy. Just a shout out to tomorrow. I'm actually flying back to Illinois. Now, those listening to the podcast, that'll have come and gone by the time you hear this, but those watching the live stream now and watching a replay of this, I'll be back in Illinois tomorrow, back at our Martial Arts Academy, 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock Central Standard Time in Illinois. And I'll be doing a book signing for our book and taking pictures and answering any questions. Please pick up a copy on Amazon. You can, a direct link is bullyproofingkids.com is a direct link right to the Amazon site, or go to our website, grogansbullyproof.com, and pick up a copy. If you're able to make it tomorrow at the Martial Arts Academy, I'll definitely pose for a picture and sign your book. And then Saturday, we have our black belt testing. So if you're in the Edwardsville, Glen Carbon surrounding areas, please stop by. Of course, those who listen to the podcast on Monday, that will have come and gone by now, but it also gives you extra incentive to listen in on the live streams on Thursday, because you get all the first-hand knowledge about what's coming up. Good stuff. Well, we're going to please, Jose's going to post in the chat on Facebook and our social media pages how to become connect with him, be a part of the Connected Leaders Academy. All our friends that took time out of your busy day to tune in to listen. Don Callahan says, thank you very much. A great show. What a great show. I know you're walking away more empowered, more inspired. Don't let that empowerment and inspiration wear off. Get right back at it later today or tomorrow to continue growing. And what you plant is what you're going to get. Plant positivity, man. You're going to see more positive. You're going to connect with more positive. You allow the weeds of society to come in there and infiltrate and fill your mind with garbage, which is exactly what the news does. Call it news, the devil's workshop. Planting negative weeds, man. Till that stuff up, turn that stuff off, and surround yourself with people like Jose and people like Jose in Jose's group. And of course, listen to podcasts like the Grogan's Bullyproof and Kickin'Life podcast. And of course, if you love what you heard, please share with somebody else. Please give us that 5-star review on the podcast and on the book. That helps move us higher in the search engines for everybody else. All right, folks. God bless you, Jose, and all your fans and followers. God bless you all out there. Listen, I love you. God loves you. Jose loves you. Please share that love with the world. And until we talk again, you get out there and do your best. And I promise you'll become your very best. You'll also become bully proof, and you'll live your best kick in life. God bless you. God bless your loved ones. Can't wait to read your comments. Can't wait to chat with you again real soon. God bless everybody. Bye-bye.